What is up, everybody? Welcome back. My name is Erin Bees. I'm a wife, I'm a mom, a military veteran, and I spent 13 and a half years in multi-level marketing, healed my way out of it, thankfully, and now I am here telling my story, helping other people hopefully tell their story, and really just wanting to prevent people from joining an MLM or figure out how they can get out of their MLM. So if you're not already following me on social media, I would love for you to follow me. You can find me on Instagram at The Real Beast Mode, and I'm Beast Mode LV, like Las Vegas, on TikTok. Am I straight from the gym? Yes. Is it totally fine? Absolutely. We got some things to talk about with, and by the way, if you haven't already subscribed, I would love for you to subscribe. I would love to hear your commentary on what I'm talking about today. I would love to hear your thoughts. Like, feel free to blow up the comments. It's totally fine. I love that kind of interaction. And I also do have a membership that's available, 3 different levels, and you get all kinds of really cool stuff. Along with, we have a Discord chat now, which is really fun. Lots of juicy information and just time together away from social media, which is kind of cool. So that is one of the perks that you get for becoming a member. And the link for all of that is in the video description. So without further ado, let's talk about what today's video is all about. There's a lot of information, a lot of mentioning of the Eric Worre Mastermind. Who is Eric Worre? He is an industry generic trainer. He is somebody that has been a part of network marketing, MLM, whatever you want to call it. I think it's all the same. If you guys want me to do a deep dive on him, go ahead and drop it in the comments. And he has a company called GoPro. GoPro. Network Marketing Pro. There it is. Good Lord. And he holds these events and he has all kinds of training. And one of the things that he has is a mastermind group. And you pay $25,000 for the year to be a part of this. Yes, I said 25,000. You pay that to be a part of this group for the year. They have Zooms, they have in-person events, and you have more access to Eric. I think he has like a Voxer or something. And yeah, so it's an industry generic group. So it is everybody from every company. You have to make 6 figures in the year to be invited to be a part of it. I think that, yes, there's a grooming process, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit, because I definitely was being groomed, in my opinion, to become a part of that group. How do I want to word this? I'm a creative person. I'm a think outside the box type of person. I'm it's always been this way. So let's challenge it and do something different. And I realize that in a business standpoint, that type of personality is somebody that is able to do a certain amount of innovation through that creative process. And so I can see that part of it. But now that I'm removed from that MLM community, if you will, I don't even know if that's the right word that I want to call that. I can see the manipulation. I can see the grooming. So I digress. So it's $25,000 to join. There's in-person events. There's, all kinds of stuff. Anyways, I want to share with you guys a little bit about how I feel like the grooming process happened for me. In 2016, that was when I went to my first Network Marketing Pro event. It was either GoPro or I think it was the Most Powerful Women of Network Marketing, and that was like May of 2016, somewhere in there. GoPro is usually held in the November, December timeframe, and then the Most Powerful Women of Network Marketing is held in the spring. Then he rolled out the leadership event. So it's called Beyond Leadership. I was in that first group that attended. I'll tell you guys that story here in just a second. That's also here held in Las Vegas. It's just, I keep, when I think of situations, when I when I hear of things like this going on, there's a certain picture that I get in my brain. And I know that sounds really kind of crazy, but there's situations where there's a word that comes up for me. And now that I've removed myself, it's just grooming. I see the word grooming because, yeah, when I was introduced to this company and these people in 2016, I was told to go, you always have to go VIP. You always have to go VIP so that you can meet these people and, so that you can network and you can do all of this stuff. And, meeting people doesn't necessarily move your business forward. Spending the extra money to go to the event so that you can have a drink and some snacks and network with people doesn't necessarily move your business forward. I mean, maybe you learn some tips or some tricks or something like that that you can implement, but it's like, now when I look back, the process of that doesn't make any sense to me, other than, my former leader really wanted to have a certain number of people that were like, okay, these are the people that are spending money. These are the people that are really invested. They're spending $1,000 for this ticket and they're invested, and I'm going to introduce them to everybody. And it was really designed to make her look good. Now I can see that looking back. And so there was this event, and I want to say at the time when I was with Modere, I was making probably about $2,000 a month. And so $1,000 ticket to this event was like, that was 50% of what I was making on paper. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a lot. Anyways, when I was at this event, it was I think that was when he was getting ready to talk about Beyond Leadership, which is his leadership event for six-figure earners or up and coming six-figure earners, that kind of thing. And he's very good. I'm just going to say this now. He is very good, and in my opinion, very manipulative when it comes to selling the thing, selling the course, the event, the tickets, all of that stuff. He's very, very good at it. He knows exactly what he's saying, and he knows exactly how to prey on people's emotions. And again, that is just my opinion. Okay. And I remember sitting at this event, and he was talking about this lunch that was happening, and you come to the front of the room and you get this little sticker, and I'm gonna have this lunch provided, and you come in, and it's gonna be a chance for you to meet other people, but it's also gonna be like a special thing where I'm testing something new out, and I'm getting ready to launch this new program. And so you go to this, or I went to this lunch, and I was like, oh my God. And who's sitting at the table? I literally sat next to Eric Worre. Ray Higdon was across from me, and I'm just like, this is all very, very, very new for me. And so I was really, really like, oh my God, because I was believing at that time what everybody was telling me, because why would my leader tell me something that wasn't true? Right? Yeah. So I'm sitting at this table. He starts talking about Beyond Leadership. And I've talked about this before on multiple platforms. And the event, the ticket for the event was like $5,000. And I remember thinking, oh my God, I need to be there. I need to be at this event. This needs to happen. Oh my God. And I remember having all of these emotions, knowing I'm only making about $2,000 a month, knowing that I don't know how I'm going to make this work, and then I have people that are like, you got to be there, you got to go. And I'm like, oh my God, I got to go. Oh my God, I have to be there. And I remember holding the paper, and I remember being really, really nervous and walking up to the table, and there was so much emotion. And now I can look back and I can see the emotional manipulation that was happening and the pressure that was happening. And I just flat out ugly cried in front of this table. And I'm like, do you have a payment plan? And I thought that was a good thing at the time. I was like, oh my God, this emotion is coming because it's a good thing. Like, this is coming out because, and I used to say, like, the ugly cry was leading me the way. No, the ugly cry was like caution. And so I ended up signing up for the payment plan. I made payments. I went to this event, and here's the thing. There is a lot of, at these types of events, there is a lot of belief that is ingrained, limiting beliefs, handling objections, and just manipulation. I look back now and I can see it, just manipulation. This is how you handle this. This is, and we saw it with GoPro this past weekend, and the role playing of the, anti-MLM community, and this is what you say, and this is what they say, and they were off the mark. The whole problem is the recruiting. You can't make a livable wage unless you recruit. And the FTC shows that over 99% of people that join an MLM end up losing money. So in order for you to make money, you have to be willing to recruit people into the business and know that the majority of them are not going to make it. They're not going to do anything. That's where Jessie Lee's deck of cards thing that she did, yesterday, that's where all of that comes from is, oh, well, some will, some won't. So what? You just keep recruiting. And so there's a certain amount of, you have to be okay with that. I wasn't okay with that. That's why that's one of the big reasons that I got out of MLM, was because I wasn't okay with that. If somebody comes to me and says, hey, Erin, I want to start this business, and I'm like, great, let's go. And I'm pouring everything I have into them. And I'm realizing that the model is preventing them from moving forward. And the only way that I can move forward is if they fail. That's a problem. I wasn't okay with that. And so in my opinion, this whole company is all about manipulation to move people forward, specifically the top 1%. And then that top 1% feeds ideas to Eric, and he creates courses and has them speak at events and all of that. And that's how I see this all happening. So anyways, that's how I see it happened. So I went to Beyond Leadership, and I was just like, oh my God, I was so uncomfortable. I shared, and I'm around all of these people that are making a ton of money. And I'm like, oh my God, this is growth. This is great. And at the time I'm like, I don't know how I afforded this. And while they might spin that like it's a positive thing, at the time I was like, okay, I've got to learn something that's going to help me move forward. I've got to learn something that's going to help me. And what I found was, it's all about belief. It's all about, well, you've got to have a big vision. You've got to believe in yourself, in the company, and the industry. And, I just think it's a bunch of smoke and mirrors. You know what I mean? So I went to that event. I was like, wow, this is really cool. Took some cool pictures. It looked good on social media, which is what a lot of this is. It's all about how it looks on social media. And then went to lots of events. I was at every GoPro. I was at every women's event. I went to 2 Beyond Leadership events, and I don't feel like any of it was worth the money. I'm just going to say it like that. And again, this is just my opinion. So how do we get from that to the mastermind? It's a great question. I'm so glad you asked that. I think it was 2019, August of 2019. I think that's when there was the mastermind get together here in Vegas at Eric's house. He lives pretty close to me. Anyways, Jessie Lee was coming in. At that time, when she would come into Vegas, she typically would stay with me for a night or 2, and then she would go to whatever event she was here for. And so I would take her to the events, because that was one of the stories that Eric would talk about, is he's like, okay, well, I would offer to pick these people up from the airport just so I could be around them. And I was like, okay, well, if Eric says that, then, that must work. And so I'd pick up Jessie Lee, and she would stay here, or she would Uber in if it was late at night. She had the code to my house, and, the gate code and all of that stuff, and would come in, and the guest room was set up for her and ready. And the next day I would take her to wherever she needs to be. And I was actually invited to stay at this mastermind. And I was like, oh my God, I wasn't planning on it. I had to pick up kids and stuff like that. And so trying to figure all of that out. And here I am in Eric's house. Somebody that I want to say at the time I was probably making, I think I was at like 57 to 62,000 in income at that time, on paper, like gross income. And I remember thinking, oh my God, I was invited to stay. They must see something really special in me. Yeah, what they saw was a dollar sign, in my opinion. What they saw was a creative soul. What they saw was somebody that was willing to do whatever it took because I think that that is some of the major things that people like this that are predatory in this industry, in my opinion, look for. They look for people that are going to do what they want them to do in the time frame that they want to do it, that are willing to spend the money, that are willing to say, I'll do whatever it takes. We hear that phrase all the time in the industry, all the time. I'll do whatever it takes, whatever it takes. Grant Cardone says that too. And so I stayed. And I remember taking some notes. I remember being, completely unprepared. And I'm like, okay, this is going to be really great. I'm going to learn something really cool. And everybody that was there is in the top of their companies, and you're sharing ideas, which I know that's what a mastermind is. And so people would get up at the front of the room, and they would share their ideas, and everybody would go home and they would implement the things that they loved. And then it would flood the market. It would flood the industry. Everybody started to do the same thing, to the point where you see some of the same posts in multiple companies. I'm like, where is this coming from? You can see it on social media. I think that it's coming from this mastermind, from the leaders, and maybe they're like, good, that's exactly what we want. We want those things implemented. Okay, cool. But if everybody's doing it, it just dilutes the process, the results, I feel like, because then we're going to be like, wait, I just saw so-and-so post something like this, or do something like this, or say something like this. And now we're into multiple companies, and it's just everybody doing the same thing. It's very robotic, in my opinion. And so I stayed. And while I was there, and this is, in my opinion, kind of part of the grooming process. And this is probably one of the comments that I get the most. Erin, why do you say in my opinion all the time? It's called protective language. I'm sharing my story, my journey, my opinion. And in order to do that, I need to use protective language. So you don't need to comment that below. Yes, I do have to say that all the time. Okay. So as I was sitting there and I was invited to stay, Eric said, we've got some guests here, and that's totally okay. And I'm like, oh my God, like, I'm already very uncomfortable now. I felt like the spotlight was put on me, and I'm like, oh my God, all these people are paying $25,000 to be a part of this. And at the time I remember thinking, oh my God, they believe in me. This is so huge. And now I'm like, no, they just wanted the money. They just wanted the money. A $25,000 paycheck. Sure, you can stay. Have a seat, Erin. Pull up a chair, hang out for a while, because we know you're going to join. Like, that's legitimately how I feel now, looking back at it. And so I get a message from Eric's wife, and I'll put that screenshot here so that you can see. And she's like, hey, you've got to be close to 6 figures, right? You've got to be close. Like, how close are you? And I think that was where I showed her, this is where I'm at, or whatever. And she was like, okay, like, we need you. We need you in this group. And I remember thinking, oh my God, she believes in me. Oh, because at that time, let's talk about this, because I think this is important. At that time, I was seeking validation from other people. I was valuing other people's words in such a big way that Jessie Lee, all she had to do was tell me that our CEO was just talking about me. And I've talked about this before. And this was also part of my healing process. But that's all she would have to say, and I'd go right back to work. Even if I was questioning, even if I was exhausted, even if I was feeling any type of way, that's on me. I take full responsibility for that, because that was the healing that needed to happen with me, which is also why words from certain people hold zero value anymore. Because I've taken the time to work on me. I don't need validation from other people. I don't need other people to tell me that I'm doing a good job. At that time, I did. So very, very different perspectives. And so that for me was really, really big at the time, because I was like, oh my God, they believe in me. Now I can look back and I'm like, well, that was grooming. They were grooming yet another mastermind member that was going to help them, one, with that $25,000 paycheck for them. Two, bringing ideas, because how I think this works after sitting there and just watching, I believe ideas are shared, things happen on social media, things get flooded. And then I think from that, Eric takes his idea, some of those ideas, and he creates courses or other events around those things. And then he has these people speak on stage that help him sell more tickets. I think that that's how that works. I feel like that's how that works after kind of seeing the inside and now the kind of outside perspective. Listen, if you have a business and your business is to train people, cool, I get it. But this is all wrapped around MLMs. And so the whole basis of it, in my opinion, is very manipulative. I remember standing at that table when I'm having this, this really emotional moment, and I remember thinking, oh my God, this is so good. And I can see the emotional manipulation and all of that. There's a reason certain words are said. There's a reason things are done the way that they do. There's a reason that all of that happens the way that it does. And I think it's gross. I think it's gross. And now we have Jessie Lee, who is demanding, we saw in the last video. And if you have not seen that video, I'm going to link it right here for you. But we see that she's telling her leaders that they have to join this. Well, why do they have to join that? Because you're not moving forward? Because you haven't hit the top rank and prove it? I would love to know what people have gained from being in the mastermind in the last year. I would love to know that. I would love to know that. Because an association doesn't necessarily help you move forward. Sure, you might learn like a tip or trick that they're doing and then it floods the market. It makes it less effective. Just come up with your own ideas. You know what I mean? Like, let me know what you guys think about that in the comments. But yeah, it's $25,000 to join. $25,000. You get, and I'll put the screenshot up here for you guys so that you can see what you get. But it's like in-person events, weekly Zooms, more access to Eric. It's like, okay, cool, whatever. But to force your people to join that, I think is absolutely disgusting. I would love to hear from some of you. That would mean you would have to unblock me, but that's okay. I would love to hear from some of you guys. So there you have it. That's my story about the mastermind. That's my story about, I guess, like the tip of the iceberg, if you will, on Eric's company and all of that. And if you guys would like me to do a deep dive, let me know. If you have any questions, let me know. I just think it's gross. I think it's nothing but a grooming community. That's how I feel about it. When you think about, or when I think about some of the stuff that has been shared from the stage, and, I went from, $300, I needed to make $300 a month. And now here I am making 7 figures and this and that. Well, you're making 7 figures because of the people that you're recruiting, not because of the sale of the product. It doesn't matter what product it is. The fact that you're okay, willing to sacrifice these people that there's going to be a lot of people that don't do anything for whatever reason, because the systems don't work and all of that. But you're okay with standing up on that stage saying, oh, I believed so hard. No, you just sacrificed a lot of people. Because I believe in MLMs, you come to a crossroad, and I've talked about this before. You come to a crossroads where you have to be okay with these people signing up, knowing that the majority of them aren't going to do anything, and you have to be okay with that. And I wasn't okay with that. That was one of the driving factors of me getting out. I started to question recruiting. Well, why don't I want to recruit? Well, because a lot of people aren't successful. Well, why aren't people successful? Well, because, I can't duplicate my personality or whatever. You know what I mean? There was that little bit of cognitive dissonance that I was like, wait a second, like this doesn't make any sense. And I stopped recruiting. And that was how all of it kind of unraveled. So I don't know. Don't join the mastermind, in my opinion. I think that is absolutely absurd. I think that it's a grooming process. I definitely feel like I was a part of a grooming process. It's really gross to me. So let me know what you guys think about this. If you loved this video and loved just kind of this open kind of conversation that we're having. I know I'm talking on video, but like you're in the comments, it's all good. Give me a big thumbs up if you would. And if you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button, turn that little bell notification on, and follow me on social media. I'll see you guys on the next video. And thanks for being here. Bye, friends.